I'm in Chennai right now, sir, and I'm enjoying playing cricket. We are playing league cricket here in Chennai, which is actually one of the best in the country. So I'm enjoying playing that. It was good, sir. It was, always it was a dream to, play, World Cup and do well. So it was always, good to have some record or like that. More than that, I just felt, the time that I was with the Indian team, I was, doing pretty well, and injuries had, I had some setbacks because of injuries, but otherwise, I felt, the time that I was there, I was able to contribute in different games, with bat, with ball. I remember bowling the last over against Australia and defending 10 runs in the 500th ODI win, for India. So, I had some good memories. Uh, so, it was good. But after that, I had again, 2 3 years. I had some injuries which I have to deal with, and it was a nice journey. So it was, I enjoyed a lot. I learned a lot in that phase. It was difficult in bits, but then I enjoyed the journey. If I think about it right now, I just feel it was a wonderful journey. No, sir, because I had my injury. Like I had a toe fracture when I last played the World Cup game, so I couldn't play after that. I was out of cricket for like say close to 1.5 months. So after that, I just played couple of India A tours, and then I didn't make any comeback after that. So that it's always there whenever you say whenever you retire, it's always like you always feel could have done more, could have done better, and that is always there in everyone's life. But if I think about overall, if I think about it, I just felt there was a lot of hurdles where I crossed it, you know, really well. That was a nice challenge where I had to, from being a spinner to, change to a medium pacer at the age of 21, 22, and then make my Ranji Trophy debut and then India debut. I think it was a nice journey overall. Like, now I'm bowling medium pace and spin, which might be helpful for me to play a few more years of cricket. So I'm just enjoying doing all the end of the day. I'm someone who gives more importance to my work ethics. So that has taken me till here. So whatever happens, I still, keep following that. So it was actually quite difficult because you need to keep pushing yourself every time that you play. I remember playing 5 years of India A. I traveled almost, every country to play India A, and did well for the India A series. And from there to get into the Indian team was like, there was a process behind it where I had to play Ranji Trophy and then do well, get into the India A side, and then keep doing well there. And when you get an opportunity, get in the Indian team. So I just feel the amount of talent that we have here in India is unbelievable. So you just need to respect that. You see, for example, when Vaibhav Suryanshi, for example, if I can take his name, in the Tri Series finals, the way he smashed was phenomenal. Like, you can't really miss out on such a player. So you just have to give credit. So as cricketer, you need to be at your top, at the top of your game every time that you play. Sometimes you get that extra cushion. Sometimes you might not, but then end of the day, you need to keep doing your best whenever you play cricket. So it is very, very important because the amount of games that we play right now is unbelievable. Like, you see domestic, it's like, 6 months, and then you get into the IPL, and then, in between you play the international games if you are called, and then you need to. The thing is, sir, like, when you get into the Indian team, when you do well, and there'll be times where you get back to the domestic and you still have to do well. So that's not very easy actually, but then end of the day, as cricketers, you don't have an option. Like there are few players who needs to keep proving themselves every now and then. So that is, I just feel as cricketers we cannot give any excuse saying I've got runs here, I've got runs there, now I'm not playing. I think that is gone now. You just have to find a way to do well whenever you're given an opportunity. So that's how you should look as a player, because otherwise we start it is very easy for us to give excuses or justify saying like I could have done this if I had got an opportunity and all that. But as a cricketer, what I learned was whatever opportunity you get, try and make the best use of it and work towards that. Like practice really hard so that you're ready for any situation. So I feel any medium-based all-rounder, I think the load will be quite high because if you are certain in the Indian team, you might take extra break when there are games where you can opt out in the domestic games when you come back here. But otherwise, you see like most of the time, any cricketer who is like in and out of the Indian team, whenever they come back, they need to play the domestic and then prove themselves. So in that case, it's very difficult for a say a medium-based all-rounder to keep proving on both aspects, like batting and bowling. It's not that easy, but I feel anyone will. I just feel right now players will find a way to come out of it. You cannot. I just feel as a cricketer, you cannot compare yourself with anyone because you know every individual is very different. So you just have to find a way. You just have to see what suits you, what is best for you, and find a way and work on it and get better. No,
Very
sir. I think it was my choice to be an all-rounder because I love to be in the game. In the entire duration of the game, I would love to be, in the game all the time. So the beauty of all-rounder is like, you bat, so the thing that I had was I was batting everywhere. Like, I was batting up, I was batting down. Whatever the team needs, I was very flexible. That was like plus and minus for me because
mm,
individually I was not able to score bigger runs because I was floating up and down. But other than that, I love to be an all-rounder because any time of the game you can come in and you can change the game for the team. That's the beauty of it. You speak about just batting and bowling. I think most all-rounders you see will be a brilliant fielder.
yeah.
So I think that is also part of
You
our
were a good fielder as well. Yes, I
profession.
remember. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that is like it is very very important to be there in the game. That's the beauty of all-rounder. So if given a choice, I'll definitely be an all-rounder because that's what I know I love to be. So that is because like as all-rounder, say what just a few minutes or whatever I told, like as a batsman when I'm batting, like when you're flexible in the team, you will only do what the team or the what the situation demands at that particular moment. So if you're able to contribute for that, the team will be really happy about it. The team will get through whatever the situation they are in, and eventually the result will also go in your favor. So as a cricketer, it is our job to actually be really good in both like batting and bowling. But if the team demands just that, there are phases where batters can go in and they expect them to score just a boundary or a six in the last whatever overs they play. So it's become more individualized. Like it's not like everyone has to score 100. It's like what are the team demands. If the player is able to do that, that is more than important right now. So no, sir, like it was. I had all that when I started playing, but then eventually I realized why I got better or why I ended up playing for the country was because I was very very flexible to bat anywhere. You see, the last time I batted for India in T20s was actually at number three in New Zealand.
Mm-hmm.
I've also batted number seven. I've batted number five, six everywhere. Even in IPL, I batted from number three to number eight everywhere. So I think in today's cricket, that's how it should be. Like any batter should be ready to bat at different phases of the game, and I think moving forward, that's how it is going to be. No, sir, I don't think so. You see, even spin bowling all-rounders do get injured. A lot of cricketers who have actually found it difficult because in a test match, they might end up bowling, say, 30 overs in a day or even more than that. So that is also not that easy because them doing that job is also really, really difficult. So I just feel see, right now there are a lot of all-rounders who are coming up, which is really good, and I'm sure, like all-rounders will be needed because uh, if you're a good all-rounder, you'll end up doing both in whatever the situation or whatever the rules are. So I just feel now everyone is given equal importance because it is just that your workload. If you can manage that, if you can if you can understand your own body and if you can still perform, I think that's the best thing because you wanted to be an all rounder because you love to do everything. So we need to we as all-rounders need to take care of ourselves. But I don't see big difference between a batting all-rounder and a medium-based all-rounder and a spin all-rounder, because everyone's load are actually quite similar. So if you can just understand it, I think it will be really good. So at the end of the day, when you think about, you obviously you need to play for the country, you need to play IPL, that's where all the limelight, or you feel like you're moving forward in cricket. But after this many years, I realized, I love playing cricket. I love playing, I enjoy playing cricket. The league game that we are playing here is all 3 day matches. And I love going there and standing. I love, bowling there. I love batting. I love my fielding. So end of the day, it is only about, playing cricket. It is only about you enjoying playing cricket. What I've realized is, you can only play cricket till a certain age. You can only enjoy playing cricket till a certain age in a competitive level. So as long as you have that competitive spirit inside you, I just feel you have to keep pushing yourself, because this sport has given you everything. So you just have to be thankful and grateful for everything that I've got in my life. So just enjoy playing cricket as long as you can.
Okay, Vijay.
Best memory, obviously, is World Cup, and getting my first World Cup cap against Pakistan and doing well against them will always be very, very special. Uh, I just feel there is no worst nightmares, because everything teaches you something, is what I believe in. That particular moment, I would have thought, things are not going my way, but end of the day, I just feel all those difficult moments have made me much much stronger person. And I learned how to deal with that. I learned how to face media, social media, and all those things, and still come out and still keep fighting, still enjoy playing cricket. So I just feel everything is a
So,
wonderful journey.
so
Yeah,
Vijay,
it was definitely difficult, but then I learned to come out of it. And then for example, Hidas Trophy, where I faced a lot of criticism, but then eventually I came out of it. 1 week later, I joined the Delhi camp, and then I had one of the best IPLs for myself. So I just feel one match won't define who you are. It is like the career that you had in the entire, I know at 20, I played cricket for, like, been playing for almost 25 years now. So just one day or one night or like just a few balls will not define whether you are a good or a bad cricketer. So you just have to take things as it comes and enjoy playing. So definitely, as I told you earlier, being an all-rounder, that's the beauty of it. You want to win matches for your team wherever you play. Uh, that's what, like, I had those small moments where I enjoyed, like,
like
the bowling the last over for India in the against Australia in the 500th ODI win, or bowling that important over against Pakistan in World Cup. There are a lot of good memories. Like, if I can, do well in those limited opportunity that I got, I just have to be really grateful for it, sir. So I just feel I'm really blessed to have played for the country. Game has given me a lot, and I need to definitely give something back to the sport. I have done my level 2 certification as well in coaching through BCCI, and I want to, till the time I'm fit. I want to play cricket out. Like competitive cricket. So that's the reason why I decided to retire from the domestic circuit. But other than that, definitely coaching is something which is in my mind. I would love to, get into coaching a few years later, and do the best that I can for cricket. 100%, sir. Like, unbelievable, talents. Like, you take any position, you have at least, like, 7 to 8 players ready for that. So that's the amount of talents that we have in our country. So I'm sure they're going to do really well. Not just white ball. I'm sure red ball, definitely, even in Test cricket, they'll find a way and start winning a lot of matches. So I think overall the talent that we have here is just unbelievable. So that's why you love to watch people score runs, people pick wickets, and do well for the country. That will always be there. There is no opinion on them, so they are like legends of the game. So there are no opinions about any player, because I just feel anyone who gets picked, I'm sure they're going to do well, and Team India will definitely dominate because that's what we are seeing. And I'm sure they're going to they'll keep dominating, and they're going to do really well in the games, upcoming games.